Commander Masters. That even sounds wrong coming out of my mouth right now. But we have a lot to unpack and a lot to talk about in today's video, because Commander Masters is going to create quite the dilemma for a lot of players out there. I may not be that surprised at the new products, but I am very excited about what they mean for the game. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. We have a lot to unpack, but before we get today's video started, I just want to put a special thank you and shout out to everyone who's been putting those amazing comments in the comment section lately. They are a great read. You guys are really you're really on top of your game. I love seeing the conversations we're having in those subsections, as well as on my private Discord, guys, for the patrons. That is some crazy stuff. Thanks again. Let's keep that stuff coming. It's amazing, guys. Now, as we go through today's video, as we break this down of the new products that Wizards of the Coast has kind of given us a bit of an exposure to, we're going to talk about the financial implications of those products coming out, but also the fact it's not really a surprise. Okay, and you'll get what I mean when we go to this first slide. In some ways, Wizards of the Coast is like the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead. They're evil, but full of power, and you've got to read between the lines the right way or you're going to get stuck with some pain. Guys, the last couple of years, we've seen Wizards of the Coast accelerate products and give us new things. And although I don't think that's the case this year, and even though they've kind of hidden some stuff away between the lines, as they start to expose these products, you'll see they kind of line up with the right time frame and the right price point to make sure they stay on track with their margins at Hasbro. And this is what I mean. Let's go ahead. We'll take a look at the first slide. And there's a couple of things we have to go over. Number one, here we have Commander Masters, right? And of course, you'll see Double Masters 2022 there as well. But when we take a look, we don't know the price yet for Commander Masters, but we have an inkling of how things should go. Commander Masters is being released August 4th, 2023, and no, they haven't announced a price yet. I've already seen it popping up on websites and kind of going around there. But when you take a look at Double Masters, which was released July 8th of 2022, its price was $429.95, and it kind of lines up with the right time frame of year in which they want a product like this to come out. Now, trying to understand the Wizards playbook, trying to understand that is not that difficult. Wizards wants the status quo. They want when things were good, and when were things good for them? Obviously, the 30th anniversary didn't work out the way they intended, and they got punched in the face by Chuck Norris in the fourth quarter, and they had to explain it to their investors, right? That's what happened. So they want to go back and rewind, like an old VHS tape, slowly rewind to when things were good, when the players were happy, and we had ice cream sundaes out front playing Magic and just kicking back. When was that good time? That's right, Double Masters 2022, you got it. So they will stick to the status quo of that pricing and that product model. No, I don't think it'll be four booster packs, but they will stick to that type of pricing model to fit in with their fourth quarter. It may be plus a few bucks, it might be minus a few bucks, but it's going to fit right into that price range. And not only is it going to be in that price range, they know after tainting Commander Legends with Baldur's Gate and they're kind of wrecking the name for now, they've got to give that a rest, so they gave us the name, right? Commander Masters. It's a Master Series for Commander, and there will be amazing cards they'll pack in there. And they have a lot of options. Remember, they're the Book of Evil, the Book of the Dead. They've got choices. I mean, they're a great company, and they're a store, and they've got good choices and selections available to the players. And they will be sure to tease just enough to the players to get you excited. Now, Wizards of the Coast realizes the Commander is the most heavily played format, and now they know it. They're sure of it. And they will tap into the revenue base attached to it, which is kind of funny because originally Commander players only wanted to play a one of, because then they didn't have to spend as much money. But now they got Wizards' attention, this kind of stuff's going to be flying at you. They've teased out the Jeweled Lotus. It's a reprint. They got different versions there. You got the scratch and sniff version. You got the mail away version, like a G.I. Joe toy in the 80s. And then, of course, you got the GoBot regular version you may not really want. But they're all there. They're collectible, and they're there for players to have. But it's enough of a tease to get players excited. They also spoiled out the Dragon, but I want to touch on the Jeweled Lotus for a second. This card is at a high price. It does need a reprint at this point. For a lot of players who opened it and thought it would be a $25 card, like myself included, they didn't make it easy to get. They made it hard to crack into, and although it's not as effective late game, this is a very effective card if you get it on turn 1 or 2. The Jeweled Lotus had an all-time high of $175.51, and that's US prices, guys. That's October of 2020. Its all-time low, though, was $68.41, and the current average is $105, okay? $150 here in Canada. This thing definitely needed a reprint. It had to happen sooner or later, and they did a little sooner than I intended it for it to happen, but I don't control their thing, so, you know, my Nostradamus abilities on that stuff's a little bit odd. But the financial side of it, don't expect some major impact on this card. They're going to make it hard to get. They're going to put probably more likely in the collector boxes, and they're going to make sure that you recognize the value by, you know, they're the ones giving you the supply and the demand. They're making it hard to get. Its price is going to stay up is my point. So be aware of it. But they also gave out the Dragon, and that thing was like $120 here in Canada, and now that mighty dragon's going to fall to like $50 because he'll be a little bit more commonly printed. Because, you know, they gave us all those dragons in Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. They give us those ancient dragons that were like hard to crack. So the Dragon being reprinted, it will have some financial impact, unlike the Jeweled Lotus. The Jeweled Lotus, I think Wizards wants to keep high. Just the way they've dealt with the card and how difficult it was to crack in Commander Legends, and the fact the Dragon was originally a Commander card to begin with, just lends it to being more easily reprinted into a set like this. And because it has a higher value, it will still be drawing a lot of player attention to it, at least until the full set gets released and we see other cards. I would think this card is going to be more commonly reprinted. Now, the thing I find interesting is the next part of this video. We're not done yet. The next part, who's even here at this point? But anyway, the next part, this part, is when a set comes out each year. There's usually one main set, but now the Wizards of the Coast has chosen to include Universes Beyond. Those are going to be more expensive products. And they do line up against other products that have previously existed, but usually in cascading years, not in sequence, not in the same year. It's like one year, one another year, but no. And this is what I mean. Take a look at the next product I want to share with you guys, and that is going to be Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, followed by Modern Horizons 2. Now check out the comparisons against these guys. When you look at the Lord of the Rings, it comes out June 23rd of 2023. It's $384.06 US on Amazon, or $499.99 here in Canada. And when you go ahead and look at Modern Horizons 2, which was released June 18th of 2021, it was $495 Canadian. Sorry, $499 Canadian and 95 cents. Look at that comparison. Now the difference is we already have a bigger product coming out this year. We've already got the main product. So this is where things are going to get a little bit dicey. Because having the Commander Masters product coming out, that kind of would replace a product like Modern Horizons 2. But the fact they're having the Commander Masters product and then coming up with Lord of the Rings at that price point, that is two heavy products. So although they want to keep the status quo, they've secretly snuck in another big bad boy product. And they've stuck in the Commander Masters Commander packs. They've given us the Commander decks, was it the Sliver? I'm going to show you the Sliver one, right? I got the Sliver. Here's the Sliver one up here for you, right? They got the Sliver, they got the Eldrazi, and those products are all going to be $60, $70 US. They're going to be like $80, $90, which is kind of where we were with Warhammer 40K decks. This is going to be very fascinating to see how players choose to spend their money, but the fact in this type of environment, I actually don't think all these products can be successful to the point they would have been if they had separated them out by year. If you'd given one more year of separation and kept them in sequence, it would allow players to spend more money and have more opportunities to explore those cards and indulge in those products. By putting them both only about a month and a bit apart, I think they're making the timetable too tight, and this is what Chris Cox was talking about when he did his fourth quarter earning call, when he said our Q3 is going to be very strong because they put two main products in a very tight schedule. Even though they said they weren't going to do it, this is not a normal release schedule. As much as they say it is, it's not. They're tight together, and that is going to really strain the wallet of a lot of players. Now, you'll have some players who will engage in the Commander Masters product. You'll have other players who want to jump into Lord of the Rings, and there'll be the crossover players who will go for both. But financially speaking, those who are cracking boxes will be in the minority. It is going to be the singles market that drives things forward. As players have really stepped away from sealed boxes, it's been falling to the stores because, let's face it, when less products are being opened, the singles market demand is quite high, and that stabilizes prices. That keeps the cards at a higher price point until it becomes almost an arbitrage situation where you have to open more products just because the prices are so high, and that eventually will drag down that price. Guys, we are in for a fantastic year. There'll be a lot of excitement. I can't wait to see the Lord of the Rings. I can't wait to see what other products they have coming with the Commander Masters and what cards they've decided to reprint. Because it's not stuff like Commander Legends. We got a whole new bag of fish they got going, but expect a lot of reprints in there as well, as the few new cards they add in will probably be very powerful. Because the cards inside Commander Masters are going to be designed to get into your wallet. Remember that, Commander players. You've got Wizards of the Coast attention now, and they want to say hello to your wallet any way they can. Lord of the Rings, they're going to be tapping into multiple playgroups and types of people who are attracted to the game, as well as Magic the Gathering. We're in for a banger year, but I still believe singles are going to rule the day, and I don't think there'll be enough spice and sauce out there to warrant mass box openings. But spoiler season will come along before you know it, and we'll get to have that discussion then. Guys, thanks a lot for hanging out with me today. I can't wait to see the comments in the comments section. Which product are you more attracted to? Do you like the look of that Commander Masters, or are you jumping over to Lord of the Rings, or are you going to smash both down like double burritos with some nachos and cheese on the side? Alright guys, thanks a lot for hanging out. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Wow, we got some crazy stuff going on out there. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to all the fantastic patrons I have supporting my channel each and day. Welcome aboard to all the new patrons. I will be doing a name switch as soon as I can to add those new patrons onto the credits. Thanks again, everyone. During the whole filming, I kept thinking about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. He-Man! I couldn't help it, guys. It kept jumping into my head every time. I was just like, it's He-Man. It's okay. I'm getting over it. I have the power. It's all good. Right out of the show. I really hope they do a new movie. That'd be so awesome. But either way, they're going to find ways into our wallets. This is one of the great ways they're going to try. They're going to put amazing reprints and some really spicy new cards. You wait and see. It makes perfect sense to me. Guys, and we called it. Anyone who watched my videos today, and you guys know I called this a while ago. This is crazy. I do. I feel like Nostradamus sometimes. Wizards playbook is not as intricate as they think. Thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. And let's put Necronomicon in there because, you know, it's the Book of the Dead. I made reference. I know they're not Wizards of the Coast really, but they are evil and powerful.